Hi everyone, take two. Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful sunny afternoon. Here in Vallejo, I am sipping on a cuppa, and I want to say thank you to those who have purchased a cuppa joe for our village, for me, for us. And that would be Shasta and Ilona, Iola, Carol, Sandra, and Teresa. Margot has purchased a traveling collage kit, and Teresa has purchased a stencil. So thank you so much for your support by buying me a cup of coffee. The link is below. And also for purchasing things from my website, whether it's something tangible or whether it's a class. You can get the information on my website, LoriMarieJenkins.com. Keep it simple, right? Well, it is time for us to celebrate. We are over 30,000 subscribers strong. Can you believe it? I can remember when I was begging people to subscribe just so I would have 100 people. So now we're 30,000 strong, which is just absolutely amazing. Thank you. Couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't do it without you. Absolutely. To celebrate, I am going to have a giveaway. Not quite sure what it will be. Probably a piece of art or a journal or something like that. If you can tell me who that artist is that inspired this spine work, then your name will be in the hat for the drawing. And I will announce the winner in the Thursday video. That being said, today we're going to play with a composition book. I sanded it first to get the shine off so that I could adhere things to the cover, front and back. It's a composition book that I paid $1 for. It's a very small investment. Last Monday in our class, we had a jelly print extravaganza. So I have been using my jelly prints, yummy, yummy jelly prints. And I created some vegan leather, and I covered the journal with that and a few other little goodies. So you'll see. All right, enough chatter from me. Leave a comment as to who the artist is that inspired the spinal wire work in this piece. And we will do a shout out and thank you to her by honoring her and mentioning her name. And then your name will be in the drawing. And then let's get on the table and play, okay? All right. Not bad for take two. See you on the table. Here's our project for today. It's a composition book from the 99-cent store. So it was 99 cents, and it turned into a gorgeous journal. I did sand the cover of it so that the vegan leather would stick. These are jelly prints that I had made. Yeah, you'll see. It's lots of fun. The only investment that I have is the composition book itself. Everything else I had. So continue to use what you have. Good morning. Coffee in hand, dark o'clock, as we all know. I have some very thin cardboard here and my delicious jelly prints. I'm going to be playing with those today. Oh, we've got some ripped ones, that's even better. And I'm going to glue the jelly prints to the thin cardboard with Mod Podge. And I'll set those aside to dry. I don't want to waste any of the jelly prints, so I am tearing off the extra and I will glue that onto some of the thin cardboard. Oh, that's gorgeous. Alright, I have 12 of these. They are gorgeous. They could be book covers just as they are. I'm going to rip them in half just so that I can put more different patterns on them with the Cuttlebug, with the embosser. So I'm going to go ahead and tear these in half. And I have my Cuttlebug ABB in the plates, lots of folders, and my jelly prints on a thin cardboard, and I'm going to start running them through the Cuttlebug, get some embossing texture. Alright, this is a book that we've been working on in class, building our own book with canvas. We only have one signature put in. And I think I'm going to cover this with the jelly prints. I think that'll be beautiful. Alright, I'm just going to do it with Mod Podge. I'm going to start gluing patches down. I'm not paying too much attention to the size of things because I can go in and add more patches. So this fit nicely. This is going to fit here. There's going to be a space between the two patches. I don't have a problem with that. We'll bring something else in there to hide the cover. Alright, I have all the pieces glued on. You can sit on this. You can put your rice bag on this. Anything to weight it down to hold the vegan patches down while they dry. Well, it's mostly dry. I'm bringing in my black StazOn. I don't know if this is a juicy one or not. I'm going to go over the embellishing. Oh yeah, this is good. Bring the embellishing up with my StazOn and the edge of the book. And there's our yummy front cover. I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing to the back. Yep, delicious. Alright, I brought in a composition notebook. Nothing fancy. You can get them for $1 at the dollar store. Nothing fancy. I put the vegan leather on the front. I didn't have enough for the back, so I put a jelly print on the back and then some of the scraps that were left from the project. I'll go ahead and put some StazOn ink on here. The reason I did this is I want to show you a fun little binding that we can use. Now this composition book is sewn together, so that's important. It is not glued together, it is sewn together, so that will be wonderful. I'm going to put the StazOn here and then we'll play with the binding. Alright, I'm going to flatten the book at the center of the signatures, bring in my drill and drill a hole approximately in the binding, in the center of the binding, 3 holes with my drill. Alright, that one's in the center, that one's in the center, this one slid off center. I'm okay with that. We'll just embrace that. I'm bringing in eyelets and installing them with my Crocodile. They will not go all the way through the pages, but I'm okay with that. I just want them on the exterior. I'm going to bring in a strip of one of the jelly prints, put Mod Podge on it, put it in the center of that signature, perfectly aligned as would be expected, and let that dry. Alright, when that is dry, or in this case nearly dry, take my awl and poke a hole through that last piece of paper. I'm going to bring in some wire. I'm going to make it 4 times as tall as the book. 1, 2, I'll put it through the center hole. leave a fair amount out because you're going to be playing with that. I'm going to go up through the top hole. This is a 3-hole binding. Down through the bottom hole, back inside. And back out that center hole. Pull nice and tight. Make sure you have one wire on that side and one wire on this side of that center wire. I'm just going to check the center to make sure that it's nice and tight. Loop that around. And then start having fun with your wire. Tying it, looping it. You can add beads on here, whatever you want to do there. I'm going to start looping it up. And just play with it. Wind it, twist it, knot it. Not it. You can always add pieces of wire if you want. This is artist choice here. I have a piece of black ribbon that is sitting here on my desk, waiting to be played with. And we'll use that to close the journal. I brought it to my sewing machine and just stitched the edge here. Was trying to lift a little bit. I didn't want it to. So I sewed the edge. I'm going to Mod Podge the front and the back to give it some sheen. Alright, the front is almost dry, the back is almost dry. I'm going to go through here. These are extra pieces of the Gelli prints. And I'm going to create some tabs just randomly throughout the book. I'm not going to pay much attention to how far into the book or how many pages between each tab. I'm just going to add a tab like that with some Mod Podge. I clip the tabs on. I will let that dry, maybe. I'm going to remove the clips and I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew these tabs on the pages. Alright, I'm bringing in a piece of that soft cardboard and some duct tape, D-U-C-T tape, and I'm going to cover the cardboard with the duct tape. Bring in my corner cutter. Very nice. I'm bringing in my steel stamping set and a hammer and my tag, and we'll see if this is soft enough to accept a letter. Yes, it is. So I'm going to write my journal. Bring in this little pointed blender and tap some divots in here. Bring in some Van Dyke Brown Hue. Paper towel. Bring in my crocodile, small hole, on the top, and on the bottom. Place it where I want it on the journal. Install an eyelet with my crocodile. Do the same thing on the bottom, pop a hole in the cover, install with an eyelet. I had said this was copper. This isn't copper, this is brass. My journal on there with duct tape, which is amazing. Tie our little journal. And there we are. Your turn. Go create, go play, go have fun.